Hey, everybody, please subscribe, like, and share.
Good. All right. Christopher Peaks back here today with Brandon Moseley for our BCS State of Alabama podcast. And we've got another guest here for you today. We've been bringing a lot of new people to office, but this man has an incredible story. He is running for state auditor. His name is Derek Chen. Derek, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you and Brandon having me on.
Hey, thanks for for coming on. I'm glad you've watched some of the other podcasts that we've had. Look, man, you've got an awesome story to tell about how your family came here and what you said about fighting the communists and with immigration. Why don't you tell that story to the voters? And
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, so I was born and raised in Southern California. And how my family got to the US is really interesting. So my great grandparents fought in Chiang Kai-shek's army during the Chinese Civil War against the communists. And as the communists started taking over large areas of land in China, Chiang Kai shek and his military retreated to the island of Taiwan. And so my great grandparents went to the island of Taiwan with Chiang Kai shek. And my grandparents were little kids at the time. And so that's where they grew up. My parents were born and raised in Taiwan. And during the late 70s, President Carter's administration decided that they wanted to switch diplomatic recognition from Taiwan's government to China's government. And when they did that, everybody in Taiwan thought that the communists were about to invade and that they were about to invade imminently. So everyone in Taiwan who could get out tried to get out. And so this was in the late 70s, and my family immigrated to the US in the early mid 80s. And so I always wondered, why did it take several years before they actually moved to the US? So one day I asked my granddad, I said, Granddad, why why did it take you guys so long to move to the United States if everyone thought that the communists were about to invade imminently? And I never forgot what he told me. He said, yes, we were scared. Yes, we were afraid. But what kind of example would I be setting for my kids if we broke the laws of our new country in order to get here? We had to do it the right way. We had to wait for our visas and go through the long vetting process. And so that's what took them so long to immigrate to the US. And, that is something that really resonated with me. And that's why I think it's so important to encourage legal immigration and combat illegal immigration, because it's not fair for the folks that have to wait in line and do it the right way for folks to skip the line and skip over them. So that was how my family got to the U.S. I was born and raised in Southern California. I've been a lifelong Republican, a lifelong conservative, and I really stuck out like a sore thumb philosophically living in California. And I knew fairly early on that I wanted to see different parts of the country, and so I made an intentional effort when I was going to school that I would go to different regions of the country to see where I liked it the best. And so I went to Hope College, which is a private Christian liberal arts college in West Michigan. It's in the town of Holland, Michigan. And so I went there. I loved it, was chairman of the college Republicans, and worked on and helped with several Republican campaigns during that time. And it was a really interesting time to be the college Republicans chairman, because this was during the 2016 presidential election cycle. And President Trump was running for office for the first time. And I remember watching his speech coming down from the escalator in Trump Tower. And I heard that speech and I knew that was the candidate that I was going to be for. And so I volunteered on his first campaign during the 2016 Republican primary cycle, and was proud that I was able to cast my very first vote that I ever cast was for President Trump in the 2016 Republican primary. Michigan was a very important swing state where I was living, and was grateful that I was able to volunteer on his campaign, and was really excited to see him elected as our 45th president. Was fortunate to be able to attend his 2017 inauguration in Washington, and that was just an amazing experience. And then, but after I was getting ready to finish up undergraduate, I knew I wanted to go to law school. And so I was talking to the president of Hope College at the time, and he said, Derek, there's a school I want you to take a look at. And I used to teach there. It's in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's called Samford University. And it's a great school. It's very similar to Hope College, except Samford has graduate programs. And so he put me in touch with the admissions folks, and I came down to visit, and I just absolutely fell in love with the campus, fell in love with Alabama, and that's where I went to law school. And shortly after attending as a student at Cumberland, I knew that this was where I wanted to spend the rest of my life, was Alabama. And it's just really refreshing to be in such a conservative state now, where I feel at home and folks have welcomed me. And I'm just really grateful to be here as a proud Alabamian now.